Here we are, February 16th, and these trails we've had about 5 to 6 inches of snow since last weekend, and trails are just littered with snow, but it's not the most ideal conditions to be hunting shed antlers in. Gotta get up here in the shade here just so I can get my phone. It's too bright out there in the sun for the phone to document the date. There we go. Awful bright out. Kind of day I don't like to look for shed antlers, but just want to go document some. Been a lot of deer activity on this property. Now that's a tree. That is a big tree. Finding a lot of beds, but no sheds. Another rub tree. I'm just going to sort of look around here for the... that's another rub. Been a lot of talk about vertical rubs or horizontal rubs. Well, the way this cowboy looks at it, a rub's a rub. You know a buck did it. And you also know that several bucks could have rubbed the same tree. So whether they're rubbing a tree horizontal or whatever, doesn't mean a whole lot to me. All it tells me is that there was bucks in your area. See this heavily laden deer trail. Oh, I'll tell you, in the winter like this, you can tell the deer congregate up because it uses less energy to keep breaking a new trail. So, yeah, rubs of all sizes. A little rub there. But like I say, I don't, other than knowing that the deer are traversing in your area, that's about all that means to me. And whether it's a horizontal tree or, because I'm going to take you right up here and show you. Here's a good example. Here's a perfect example of a horizontal versus a vertical. So it doesn't really make any difference. Now here is a sizable rub on the tree. And then on this side, you notice that got rubbed up pretty aggressive. Once again, you don't know how many bucks did that. But here would be a horizontal limb of a cedar tree attached to that tree. Don't have any rubs on it. So, don't make a whole lot of difference to the deer. I think it's something mankind's injected more enthusiasm in it than the deer have. They've been in here a lot. Like I say, after last week's snowstorm, and it's supposed to snow again tonight, I see a lot of open area in here. But, and I'm checking the fence lines, and I don't see any sheds, but I want to just make a point. Nothing is a perfect science. And there's no golden or silver bullet what will work and what won't work. So I wish people would understand that. Something worked for you, fine. Pass it along. But don't make it sound like it's the newest, greatest thing since sliced bread, because it's not. Because deer are deer. Fortunately, they're wild animals and man can't control them. Or they'd be called livestock if they were controlled. Another big rub. They really got after that, but once again, I want to stress, you've seen from one video that many a buck could have rubbed that tree. And when you walk up on it, if you're a novice, you'd think, wow, it's a giant. Not necessarily so. You've seen that in a video where I had several bucks rubbing the same tree on the same day. But boy, when you venture out here, this was where the winter greens and tall tine tubers were planted. And there definitely been a lot of track in here, because this is a week-old sign. This is how old these tracks are. And you can see for yourself, they're still pawing it out. And they pawed this out. We had one melting day the other day. It was 45 degrees there, I believe, on Valentine's Day. Yeah. So that was the 14th, and today's the 16th. But they really are still moving about. And all you have to do is look down on that field and see the tracks. Of course, a few deer can make a lot of tracks. What you're looking at right now are the locust pods and the winter greens. And they've pawed through there. That's how all that snow got dug out. And it's the 16th day of February. I don't like shed hunting in this, because I suppose if a shed was laying right on top of the snow, you'd see it, but it really makes it difficult. It's a it's a sunny day, and there's lots of bean pods. Let's go up and get a bird's eye view of this field. Now, you're looking at the field, what I would call a destination plot, if that was proper terminology. You see how large the cornfield is. It's basically right at 4 acres in size. And pardon the trash in the way right now. We'll get around here. But there's a lot of corn. With that said, over a good 90% of that corn has been consumed. And as you look down here on the bean stubble, the beans have been completely eradicated through grazing. And but this just gives you an overall view of how much food is available. And fortunately, we still have some left, because a severe winter like this, if we hadn't had this much in acreage, you're looking at basically 6 acres here of food source. So you have quite a variety, from the brassicas to the turnips and forage oats. And you can see the tracks out there in the snow. So they're still consuming and still benefiting from my efforts of growing things. And like I stated on the onset of making these videos, it's not about killing to me. I can kill without them. But it sure is enjoyable just to see the benefits that you have for the overall wildlife in your area. Well, let's get down and take a walk through this cornfield. This really is an educational tool for all food plotters. Now, I don't know if you can grow corn in your area or not, but if you do, you definitely want to make sure you plant ample corn. And if you have the acreage, if you don't, be prepared to have it gleaned off in a hurry, because like I say, this is a 4-acre plot, and we got full corn, and then right alongside it we got some that's been consumed on. And like I said, there's probably right now at this time, I would say 95% of this corn has been consumed. And I'm getting out of here, because every twisted corn stalk looks like an antler today. But notice the deer sign in here. I want to show you a contrast to that, where the corn has been consumed, and you have very little deer activity. Now as we venture into this end of the cornfield, all you have to do is look on the ground. Just 100 yards away, the trail, in between the rows were just littered with new cobs and fresh track and fresh droppings. And now, basically, you have a travel route here going to that corn area. But the corn in this area, you see very little browsing because the corn has been cropped off. And like I say, you see no new cobs laying on the ground. If you do, it's sporadic. But nowhere near the deer sign. Because like I said, it has been consumed earlier, around Christmas and January. Here would be a travel route. As you notice, they don't browse, they're just walking through here. So this is just a good lesson to see how the consumption, this corn in here, in this part of this field, it all made corn, real good corn, but it is definitely, as you can see, the tracks don't lie. There's no new cobs, there's no new kernels of corn laying on the ground because the food's not here. The only thing that's here now is the stalks. Still a lot of deer track out here on the tall pine tubers, but for winter grains. But what deer will start be doing here, they'll be changing their diet to a browsed natural crop, because once your plots have become consumed, they will start becoming wood eaters. What makes it nice at this time of the year, in one aspect, you definitely see the deer trail up. They don't wander. Once they break a trail, as you can see here through the woods, they don't wander off that trail because it's less stressful just to follow the same trail without breaking new trail. And if you were lucky enough, you could find, well, there was a deer bed. If you were lucky enough, you could find a shed if they dropped them off en route to that cornfield. But that's, like I say, just being lucky. But they really trail up, that's for sure. This is interesting. Here's one of those cameras I left. Lord only knows how long that's been out there. But stumbled upon it today, unknowingly. Now, there's been several deer that have walked across this pond of late, and I wouldn't advise that to some people, you know, but like I said, deer have been walking on water, and I'm walking on water right now. And I really find it ironic that the deer actually come across this, other than it's an open area, and right in there, right off in that area right there, is where I found that matching set to the 8-pointer. But This is about the only way I can walk on water. I'm not a gifted god, so I just gotta wait until Mother Nature sees fit to have me traverse across her bodies of water. Well, I enjoyed taking you along today. We covered several different terrains out here, and I'm really glad that I didn't find any shed antlers, because that's shed antler hunting at its best. I don't have an upper hand on any one of you viewers. I get lucky once in a while, find a couple, maybe find more than a couple, but it's not an everyday occurrence. And we covered a lot of different territory today, from dense thick cover to the cornfields to the open clover fields, and numerous trails and numerous bedding areas per se. Seen a lot of vertical rubs, absolutely no horizontal rubs. But if you can take away that you can walk on water if the conditions are right, as you've seen me do, there are days that you can do that. Same way as shed hunting. You can go out and find sheds, and boy, you think you got a pattern, but you don't. Because you can do the next day and the next day and the next day, and you can come up with zero. So I encourage you to keep an open mind and keep the faith when you go to the field, because you never know, the next footfall could be where you find your next shed. So that's it from the Non-Typical Norwalkian on February 16th.